you girls read the article in the latest Maclean's magazine that praised dead-end jobs. So Cheryl, do you want to get us started on this?
I know. You know, our producer asked me to kick this off, and I'm like, do you think I have a dead-end job? Is there a reason?
Okay, what is a dead-end job? What is a dead-end job?
Well, actually, I think a dead-end job might be a little offensive to some people, but you know, I think it's defined different ways. It could be a job where you feel like you're not going to get to where you want to go. It could be a job where you feel like the atmosphere is abusive or you hate what you're doing. I think that can be defined a lot of ways. I would rather say a job that you don't like.
Well, but in the article in particular, they're talking about, you know, like teenagers, young adults whose first jobs are at McDonald's or whatever.
Right, and they're jobs that help to get you to your next step, to pay for school. And, you know, I was thinking about my jobs that have developed me into such a wonderful woman as myself that have built in character.
Such a humble one.
Yes, and such a humility with me.
What are these
And
jobs?
okay, so the job, so I first did a paper route.
Okay.
I sold knives.
Oh.
Knives.
I sold knives door to door. I was.
How long did that last? Seriously.
For a summer. Okay. I was the nails, bolts, and screws girl at Canadian Tire, organizing all the different nail heads by size and things.
No
Seriously.
comment. No comment.
I did, and I worked in 3 restaurants, and I worked in many retail places.
Wow.
And the best one was working as a grocery girl in the Yukon.
Oh, wow.
So
I
I was
always
like,
wondered
ching,
what divas did for a living.
ching, like that.
Change you or craft
Well,
who
you know
you are
what?
today.
When you work in the service industry, and this is why I give kudos to people who do it, you are treated poorly, and you are blamed for things, and people treat you bad. And you know, if you can get through that, you can honestly get through.
Well, I think that's what
anything,
the article
right?
is saying, isn't it, Cheryl?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, the idea is that these kind of jobs teach you character. They teach you about yourself and what you do like and what you don't like, and how to get along with people.
And how not to freak out and say, "Get the water yourself with lemon."
smile and say, "Oh, I will fix that for you." Spit in it.
You would never do that.
Never
Spit on somebody's
But I'm
food.
always suspicious that somebody might do that.
So you want to be nice.
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
don't
Well,
do
I'm
it to
never
you.
rude to people, but I've been at tables with people who are, like a little more demanding, say, no names mentioned, and you wonder if they ever do that, because you hear rumors.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
go into. Why are you looking guilty?
Well,
Wink,
speaking of our first jobs, besides babysitting, for kids in the neighborhood, my first job was I was a waitress when I was 15 at Shoney's Big Boy restaurants. Anybody been to
Shoney's?
Shoney's?
Yeah, I've eaten there.
And then, I did that for quite a while. And then I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I did, short of making the pizzas, I did everything you could do at Chuck E. Cheese.
And you were Chuck,
You
right?
weren't the clown or anything,
I
were
was
you?
Chuck. I
You
was
were
Chuck
Chuck?
E. Cheese.
What is
I
he,
was.
a
I
mouse?
was the
A
dog.
bear?
He's a
Mouse.
he's
He's
a mouse.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese?
I've never been to Chuck
And
E.
I
Cheese.
was the
Okay,
dog.
sorry.
I was the I can't remember their names now. I was the dog. I was every
You need pictures
character
of
there.
this. We should have brought
Yeah,
pictures,
yeah.
Anne, of you doing that.
It
we
was-
need to take Cheryl on a field trip to Chuck E. Cheese one
Absolutely.
day.
Rachel,
She'll
what are you doing
know.
after
She'll
this?
appreciate me.
Did
Okay.
you enjoy that though? Was it hard or was
You know
it?
what? It was a job. I was a teenager.
Exactly.
I needed the money, and it was a job, and it taught me responsibility and not to
Yeah.
complain because you got to work for what you get. And
Yeah.
So, what about you guys? Get into
So
it?
my first job, it's hilarious now that I look back at it. My first job was a tour guide at an old Georgian house.
Oh,
that's
lovely.
neat.
First black girl. Dressed from head to toe, the little bonnet.
Oh,
The big dress. Yeah.
Oh, you
That's a
So
great
it was
job.
hilarious. it was fun.
You could have sold knives and I would have done that, really.
And so I had to memorize everything about the house and take
cool.
people through
so
tours.
how old were you at the time?
Oh, I was just starting high school, so I was in like grade 9,
Yeah.
grade 10.
Oh,
That's
really
And then
huge.
my second job was in retail,
Yeah.
which I absolutely loved,
I
actually.
love retail too.
Yeah,
Just
I remember
yeah.
when you first started here, you stayed there part-time so you could get the
Yeah.
clothing discount.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, me too. Hello. 50% off. Wearing
Okay,
clothes
Cheryl,
you
we haven't
love.
heard from you yet.
I know. Okay, well, I've done many, many jobs. My most sad job was I was an organist at a church on Sundays for one summer, and
You
I
played the
actually it's the
organ?
only job I ever got fired from. Because I screwed up every Sunday morning, and I guess they just
You
didn't
got
like.
fired from a church?
I got fired from
Oh, Cheryl.
I know. But the job I learned the most from, I think, was I started here at Crossroads, my first job out of university, with my broadcast journalism degree, all hoping, going to be a journalist and everything else. I started here as a secretary. And, I have such a heart for secretaries. I think when you do any kind of job, that you understand what they go through. And just trying to believe that God was going to open the door for me to do what I was trained to do when everyone just saw me as they met me. This is what you are, and this is what you do, and this is what you're always going to do. It was so hard to believe that God was going to open the doors for me to do my dream. And so here I am just a few years later.
These are all stepping stones, aren't they?
Yeah, and I
in building our character to prepare us for what lies ahead.
Yeah, and I think teenagers, as much as, we talk on the show all the time about these teenagers that feel entitled and they want to just graduate and immediately get into the job, I think the whole point of why we're saying this is that you gotta do the work. You gotta, be in the gutters and do the work to get where you need to be. And so you can't be like all of a sudden pay your dues. Yeah. And I think that's an important message for young people to know. Here, because look, we're the products of a clown.
Not
I'm sorry. I should have said a mouse.
Mouse.
I'm so sorry.
Clown. I was never a clown, Melinda. You need to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
We really have to go on a field trip.
The point is, you got to start from the beginning and keep moving forward.